We are here live at Landmark Ecosystem, basically Landmark Structure, and we are New Central Television. My name is Bernard Akede. This is the third of our town hall series. We've been at Jakonde, we've been at Idumota Market, and now we are at Landmark Structures. We basically are here to get the proper narrative from those who are directly and indirectly involved with the demolition that may take place if eventually the construction of the coastal Lagos to Calabar Road does take place or does commence, as we've been hearing. Now, basically, we've heard different narratives, we've heard different stories from social media, we've heard from different persons, but we are here to hear from those who directly are involved. There are parts of this narrative that may have not been made known to the public in the past, and now it's time for you to hear live from those who know what exactly is going on. About a week ago, we also were here to give a report on the sudden sand filling of the front side of the beach, this Landmark beach here. We're not sure exactly what this may be connected to. There's a possibility that it is directly or indirectly connected to the coastal road creation. Also, there could be the connection to Eco-Atlantic City. Some of these things will be demystified in the course of the program. Again, my name is Bernard Akede. We would like to welcome everybody who is seated here and those who are watching from home to the third, as I mentioned earlier, of our Town Hall series for New Central Television. We're streaming live on DSTV 422, Star Times 274, and on all mobile devices. We are live on our YouTube channel. Our YouTube channel is News Central TV Live. Now, without further ado, I would quickly like to announce that this should take at least an hour or an hour 30 minutes. So within that period, we're going to be hearing from stakeholders. We're going to be hearing from business owners. We're going to be hearing from staff of some of these businesses that are at Landmark premises, I beg your pardon. We would also be hearing from service providers. The truth is, as I've been made to know, is that Landmark is not just one company sitting on its own. It's a conglomerate of different companies that have come together on one premises. And because of that, if eventually these activities that we talked about do take place, several of these companies will be affected. That's one. The workers of these companies will also be affected. Those who service these companies will equally be affected. And we're looking at thousands of people, thousands of jobs, without even mentioning the millions or billions of naira that eventually will be affected as well. Now, we are standing here at ground zero of the properties of Landmark Ecosystem that have been marked for demolition to give way to the Lagos to Calabar Coastal Road, as earlier mentioned. We have heard a lot about this impending negative impact of the ongoing coastal road on the over 80 businesses employing over 4,000 and 12,000 people directly and indirectly here at Landmark, West Africa's premier and most visited tourist destination, which serves over 3 million. And that is an estimate. It clearly can and most likely is more than that, but this is an estimate to let you know the numbers of people that will be affected eventually. Now, we have heard today the different stakeholders whose means of livelihoods are threatened by the proposed demolition. These stakeholders, some are represented here, and I'll mention. We have, of course, the Landmark management and staff. We equally have the independent beach business owners and their employees. We also have other independent businesses, business owners within the Landmark ecosystem. And then there's the third-party service providers and suppliers who, in one way or the other, supply goods and services to the several businesses here on the Landmark premises. Now, as they say, a story is best told from the horse's mouth. So it would be great to hear from the parties that will be directly affected, as we've mentioned earlier. We will start, of course, immediately with Mrs. Adobe Nwaze, who is the Chief Legal Officer of the Landmark Group, to tell us about Landmark, basically. She's going to introduce Landmark to us and us to Landmark, tell us how and when Landmark started and what exactly Landmark business and ecosystem is about. Thank you very much. Please, can we give her a round of applause as she comes? Thank you so much, ma'am.
Good afternoon, all. or still good morning, sorry. As he said, my name is Ada Wanzi. I'm the head of legal at Landmark. I've been in Landmark for close to 16 years now, and I think I can count myself among the people that can preach the gospel of Landmark in a sense. How did we get started? We were, back in the 90s, we were a co-working facility, co-working business. We were mostly based in Europe and in America. But then our founder, Mr. Paul Wanibe, and a couple of other Nigerian investors decided to pivot into Africa, and we started our first operation in Lagos, Nigeria. So we have one of our first offices in Africa, Karimo Kotum. Then the founders, they developed this idea, this business leisure lifestyle idea, in a sense where in one secure location you can provide business, leisure, and lifestyle activities. So back in 2004, they began scouting for realty that would be a proper platform to showcase all these offerings in one place. So there were a couple of properties they looked at, but the one that really attracted attention was the beachfront property. And as you can imagine, human beings have a lot of love, admiration, respect, even fear for the water. So this was an ideal location to start this business. So in 2006, payment was made for the property, and then in 2007, the perfection was done. And then as time went on, the different aspects of the realty that would showcase the business, leisure, and lifestyle experience we're trying to showcase, they started to come up. One of the first things that came up was the event center over there. In its earliest life form, it was a 1,500-seater marquee. And that today has grown to be effectively the largest event center in Lagos. Many auspicious events have been held in this particular event center, and people such as Mark Zuckerberg, the CEO, of course, I'm sure we know Mark Zuckerberg. He's the MD of Facebook, now called Meta. The CEO of Google, Sundar Pichai, he's been in this particular building as well. YouTube has had events in here. I think if you mention 10 major events in Lagos or Nigeria, I would say this particular event center has held it. The next thing one of the next developments that came up was, thank you. One of the next developments that came up was the Landmark Towers, the 10th-floor developments. That is effectively the business outpost, if you will, for the Landmark Group. And you have the largest concentration of corporate tenants there. Among them, you have PwC that occupies 4 floors out of the 10th-floor building. And you have a couple of multinationals, Regis, Johnson & Johnson, Ansaldo Energy, and the rest of them. Then, with respect to the retail outlets, you have the Hard Rock Cafe. I don't know how many of us know the fact that Hard Rock is in 74 countries across the world. And this is the only one that's that's in West Africa, this particular Hard Rock here. Right. Yeah. And we have the Retail Boulevard as well. That houses a lot of the retail outlets that we have within this ecosystem. You have KFC there, you have Film House, you have 355 Restaurant as well. And fun fact, up until last year, we had a 65-room campus facility that was accommodating the National University of Technology and Management. That's one of the things we're quite proud of, because we actually hosted an educational facility up until last year in this ecosystem. And then, thank you. And then we come to the beach. It is the heart, the core of what Landmark stands for, because if you ask the average person what they know about Landmark, they mention the beach. It's a 1.2 kilometer stretch of beachfront, and literally every square meter there is feeding a family. We have 40 businesses on that beachfront. The smallest ones will have about 7 to 8 employees, and the largest would have 80 employees. And all of them are coming together and providing all kinds of amazing services to Nigerians. You have businesses such as the L'Aquatic, which is effectively the bouncy castle on the water. It's a great attraction for the children. You have the Landmark Kids Club by Maxtivity. That's another thing that the children absolutely adore. You have things for the adults, where you have the Truth Beach Club and Lagos Hangouts. There's also a stage where live performances, stage plays, and the rest are also performed at the beach. So, like I said, the beach is, if you will, the center, the core of this tourism platform. Is the thing that binds all of these different businesses, the corporates, the leisure, the retail, all of that. They all come together. The beach is the core of it. Now, about the alignment and the coastal road, it's something that has always been part of the country's intentions to develop. In an earlier life form, that road was called the West African Coastal Highway. And the plan, up until very recently, was that it would run through the Water Corporation median. The members of the public, if they're minded, can just go across and you see the very wide expanse. You can effectively take basically 60 meters wide amount of road, so to speak. So that is currently underdeveloped. And, you know, an environmental impact assessment, if they consider the social economic impact, stroke cultural impact, an establishment such as this is contributing, right, to the nation's economy, and then you compare that to effectively, you know, bare land. You know, I would think that this would give the decision makers further room for deep thoughts about the impact of running a road right through the beach. So I think I would like to just close out by saying something that there's really nothing like Landmark here. I've been here, like I said, 16 years now. I don't know of any place in Lagos or in West Africa that you can rent a space, rent an office space, rent an apartment, stay in a hotel, go to a restaurant, have somewhere to keep your children while you're having fun. You know, you can attend an exhibition, you can have a wedding, or you can have a beach wedding if you want. There's really no place like that in Nigeria, in West Africa. And so that if this was to be destroyed, it would be very difficult to replace it, yes, or to copy it for that matter. So this is an appeal for due consideration to be given, for this to be properly weighed, to understand the impact. Thank you all.
Thank you very much. Can we please give another round of applause for those who do not know what Landmark is about, how it started, and how the company, how Landmark basically got here. I think it's worthy of a round of applause. Thank you. Now, we've heard from the legal person, and we've heard the history behind Landmark from inception up until date. It's time for us to hear and to get some clarity from those who are directly affected, or who will be directly affected by the demolition should it take place. After that, we'll hear from those who will be indirectly affected. As she did mention earlier, it's a coming together of several businesses. What most people know is the beach when you talk about Landmark. But between the early days and now, it clearly has grown from being just a beach resort or a leisure beach resort to an entire empire, if you want to, like, if you'd like to call it that. So we're going to start by calling. Just to clarify, who we would call first? Please give me a second. We're going to be speaking with staff of Landmark facility. Okay, so let's take the business owners first, right? We are aware that there are several businesses, as have been made known here today and before today, several businesses who run their business, or several companies who run their business on the Landmark premises. So we will start by speaking or hearing from some of the business owners who have been here. Let us know what business exactly you're representing. Let us know how long you've been here in the Landmark premises, if possible, the number of staff that you have, and then how your business and your staff will be directly or indirectly affected should there be any kind of demolition on these premises. Okay. All right, ma'am, please. We would like you to please, again, your name and the business you represent. Thank you so much.
Hi, good morning. So, I'm passionate about this. And that's one of the reasons that I continue to put myself out to protest, to speak up. I believe most passionately that as Nigerians, we all need to do our part, to stand up for what we believe, to stand up for our country, to stand up for what we want to have and what we want our children to have, most importantly. My name is Kemi Oshinibi, and I'm the CEO of Maxtivity, and we have a Landmark Kids Club here at Landmark Beach. We've been here for under 3 years, and my story is that I had come also from a place that had been destroyed during NSARS. So I have faced, this is my third time of destruction. We were looted twice at Sokomo, one during the xenophobia, then second during the NSARS, and I'm devastated, I am disappointed, and I am, too many D's to think about that. My third time of setup, I might face destruction here as well. So I am speaking up. I'm speaking up for all the families that want to come to Landmark, to the beach with their children. For all the children that many have never seen water. And this is one of the best places they can safely enjoy the beach, because we have a facility that parents feel comfortable to come to allow their children to play while they enjoy their beach. I think it's really important that families, we don't forget families make up this population. We are a population in which almost 50% are under the age of 19 years old. We are very young. So we need to nurture what we have. We need to nurture our children. We need them to understand what it is to have a place to have fun, a place to relax, a place to also just imagine what it's like anywhere else in the world. And Landmark Beach represents a place that is like anywhere else in the world. And I think that let's not get it twisted. There is no place like Landmark in Lagos. And we have removed lots of beaches already. This is almost the last one standing. And so we must stand and say no more. Seriously. As a business, as a Nigerian, as a woman, as a mother. Nigeria is our motherland. Our mother cannot do this to us. Our mother cannot do this to us. So we are pleading that they should save us. We still have time. There is still a way. We want to find a way where we can all win together. So this is my plea. This is my passion. This is my emotion. I cannot do anything else but to plead with everything and ask, please, everybody, whatever you can do, please save Landmark Beach.
Thank you so much. I'm sure I'm not the only one who felt the passion in everything she said, right? Whether or not you work here or live here, hearing this story, and I will give you my own connection to this story. But before then, Kemi, can you give us a small representation of how many people from your own business may be affected? And this is not counting their family members who, of course, depend on them.
I have my team here, and I would really love them to talk because, when I had to give them the potential news, the devastation that I myself found that they probably feed 8 to 10 people themselves. So I have a team of 27 on a normal basis, and of course we support a whole ecosystem of suppliers, of vendors, and every day we are paying suppliers, we are paying vendors. So, for us, it's uncountable. But yes, that's how many we support.
Thank you very much. Please, you can take your seat. My arithmetic may not be fantastic, but if we have about 27 people, multiply that number by 8 to 10. right? And that will give you a small fraction of some of the people who will be affected. I would like to ask a quick question to Ifoma. Your name is? Yes, Ada, I'm sorry. Has there been any, we hear that there are ongoing conversations with members of the government. What has the conversation been so far up until now? Have you been reached as at present? And yes, you can sit. I'll bring the microphone to you. And where are we now?
The engagements are still ongoing, right? But until we have the green light, we don't have the green lights. And that is the reason for this continued engagement. That's as much as we can say right now. We are talking, we are engaging, but nothing definitive has come out yet. So it's still effectively 50-50. Right, thank you.
Before we go on, I would just like to recognize the presence of High Chief Matthew Adekunle Akpeno of Ibejuleki Land. High Chief, thank you so much. Is he around? Can you please wave your hand, please? Okay, he's somewhere in the corner. Thank you so much for coming, sir. Thank you. Now, I was saying I was going to respond to what Kemi mentioned. In 2019, during the xenophobia attack, I believe, South Africans on Nigerians in their country and then the reprisal by Nigerians here, I was at Circle Mall as a reporter then, and I saw some of the devastation that happened. Certain stores were broken into, and besides Circle Mall, we also went down to Novare Mall, I believe, at Lekki, and there we saw business owners crying because their stores were looted. There was a woman who was into jewelry. The entire store, including the shelf, was macheted down and taken away. That's one. And then NSAS came. I was there again because I live around the axis, and we saw what happened. The shelf too, including the hangers where clothes were being hung to be sold, were taken away. The interesting thing, but sad, I saw people rolling away water tanks that were supplying water to several stores. They were taken away. And it didn't end there. The place was burnt down. And then this is going to be a third. We hope that this, in any way possible, does not affect people that same way again. There's a portion of the Bible that says affliction will not rise twice, I believe. For some people, they're seeing it trying to rise a third time. And that is what we are hoping will not happen. And which is why News Central Television is taking this town hall series to several places. The first of our series I mentioned earlier was at Jakonde, and there was a lady there who also said about the same thing. Now, this is in terms of residents. They were moved from Morocco to a certain place, first of all, and then for further constructions, they were moved from there to Jakonde, and for the third time, their buildings had been demolished. These conversations are still ongoing. We hope that the government will, of course, hearken to the cry of the people and find alternatives that will eventually be a win-win for Nigerians, for the government, and for the affected people. We're going to speak to another business owner who has been affected. Please come forward. Can we please put our hands together as he comes?
All right, good morning, everybody. My name is Papi Moturayo Awoshika. I represent Papi's Grills and Chills. We're into street food, also Nigerian street food, and finger foods as well. I've been on the beach for roughly about 3 years, and I would say that for me, it's not just a business any longer, being a landmark. It's my second family. I mean, I've grown to work with so many people from different fields. And there's a bond that has been created, and we're like a family. Not just stopping at working a landmark as a vendor as well. We've come across millions of people from all over the world. And the truth about it is, when they come into Landmark, they are amazed at what they see. And they're like, tell me, does this exist here? And we're like, yeah. And they're like, look, this is what we go all over the world to see. So you can imagine how many people are still looking forward to coming to Landmark. I mean, I've been away medically for over a month, and it was as if a part of me was missing while I was recuperating. So imagine me coming back saying, oh, going back to my second family, and then I come in, and the first thing I hear is, we're taking Landmark apart. It breaks my heart. It breaks my heart seriously. I don't think it can be monetized in any way. It really breaks my heart if this happens to Landmark. I had calls from different people all over the world asking what's really going on. Are they really going to pull this down? Do you mean we can't come in to Landmark again? But we believe that Landmark will continue to exist. We are hoping, and we're pleading and praying to the government, stick to the old plan, give it a win-win. Let the people we make happy be happy. Allow us and the people we employ and we indirectly impact on their lives be happy as well. I have 2 kids and they're 10-year-old. And when I got back, and the first thing they said to me was, Daddy, we heard that Mark is not going to be existing anymore. I'm like, where are you from? Like, it's on the internet. I'm like, Daddy, you mean we can't go to the Landmark anymore? These kids are 10. They love Landmark. Imagine the amount of hundreds of thousands of kids that love Landmark. You can come to Landmark and drop your kids, go your way, do your own thing, and your kids are safe. There's nowhere else in Nigeria you can do that. I don't think so. So there's a lot has been put into Landmark. And for me, like I said, they haven't put it in there just as a business. It's a family. I have so many co-business owners that the bonds we have built are undescribable. Staff I've come across, numerous. A lot of them passing through onto something else, some going back to school. I know how many of them, once they are on a break, they're calling, boss, can we come in for a month or 2? We're impacting lives positively. Landmark has made business so easy to do. You're not burdened in any way with crazy rents or whatever. It's so easy to do business. The ease is fantastic. And for puppies, we have been able to build young men and women who have gone on to establish their own businesses, taking people off the streets, making them responsible, feeding families, and saving lives. We need to save the beach.
Thank you so much. Just before I let you go back to your seat, I know you said that, but I'd like you to stress and emphasize. When you had to break the news to your staff, how did you feel and what was their response? Very quickly.
Okay, so for me, it was a bit difficult. And then for me, because I wasn't around, they had actually been hearing on social media, so they've been trying to reach me. And when I came in, the first thing was, what's going on? I have staff who have old parents back home they send money to on a monthly basis. They have siblings they are also supporting. So I know how tough it is. They're confused because they don't know what is going to happen if Landmark shuts down. Where do they go from here? It's a real tough one. I don't think it's anyone anybody wants to be in. So like I said before, we hope and we pray a Landmark Beach is saved. Indirectly, we're going to save a lot of lives. We're going to keep a lot of people off the streets. And we're going to make Nigeria a better place. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Again, we said we are looking towards a win-win situation. We know that the government is doing its own part, but there's nowhere in the world where the government can employ all the people. And this is one way by which people are gainfully employed. I mean, if we look around to those seated here, we have about at least 100 people here, and that's 100 jobs. And that is just the people seated here. That's not everybody who is in one way or the other connected to this facility. We're still going to hear from a few more people. Would like to call... Sorry? Okay. That's the owner of that's Marian Management. Okay, please come forward. Okay, to take the mic to her. Okay, please hold on. Please stand.
My name is Marianne James. I represent the beach resort, the Landmark Beach Resort. So I'm managing the beach resort, and when we got the news about this whole demolition, I mean, I was devastated. Like, I can't imagine how a place like the beach resort will not exist anymore. It's just, I can't explain how I felt. Our staff members, our team members, everybody, they were just, they couldn't express how they're feeling. I mean, we have up to a staff strength of about 60 and above. We have people who are married, people who have children, people who support families. And if we are trying to round up these families, we are going to be rounding up to 200 and above people. I mean, how do we just break the news to people that, oh, the beach resort is not going to be there, you can't come and enjoy the place, you can't come and stay here anymore? It doesn't make any sense to us. I mean, like, we have customers calling us, can we still come and lodge? Can we still come to your place? We hear their sad feeling. It's just disheartening, to be honest. I mean, imagine this beautiful place just disappearing. Imagine sand filling the place. Imagine all these things. I'm sorry. So we are appealing to the government to help us save the beach, because I don't know how we want to have a place like this in Nigeria. Like to take out the place from Nigeria, it doesn't make any sense to me. Landmark is like the best tourist attraction in West Africa, and to just do away with it like it doesn't exist, it doesn't make any sense to me. I mean, in my opinion, I would think that we are trying to protect a place like this. We have this in the whole of West Africa. We should be trying to save it at all costs. I mean, I'm hoping that the government will do something to bring a win-win solution. If it's something, a plan that will help both business and the road. That's what I think, in my own opinion. So, I don't know. Thank you.
Thank you, Marianne. Just before you take your seat, I want to ask, you talked about people who have been lodging here, people who used to lodge here. In your opinion, from your calculation, how has this been affected? Has the numbers reduced? What impact has it had so far since when this announcement was made known up until today?
I would say our guests, they've been concerned. They're like, okay, we're seeing the news, we're seeing what is going on, what is going to happen to the resort. As at this time, our responses is, we are good, we are still here for now, we are still hoping for a positive feedback from the government, we're still hoping for a positive solution. So we are trying to still tell them that we are in business, we are still taking reservations, we are still hoping that people come, but the future is still something that we are hoping for a positive solution as at now.
Thank you, Marianne. We'll go back to taking business owners, and then after that, we'll come to the staff who actually interface on a daily basis with the customers and with those who patronize the facilities on the beach. Just before we do that, I'd like to mention again that sometime last week, I believe it was last week, Monday, I was here with some other crew members just in front of the beach when we got I would like to call it a distress call, that there were some sand filling activities unannounced just on the beachfront. You know, I've come here before several times with my family, with friends, and on arriving here, I almost couldn't recognize the part of the beach that I saw. We hope that in the course of this, we'll be able to take shots so that everybody watching at home can also see what it is we're talking about. It was a surprise when we did see that, and we were able to speak some of those who have been working on the beach, the staff members here. We're going to hear from them as they speak again. We had that report put out. That was the first major report concerning this demolition that we spoke about. We are going to continue speaking as much as we can. We would have one or two more business owners before eventually we speak to staff members. Please, can we put our hands together for her as she comes forward?
Hi, my name is Tokumbo Shotimwa, and I'm the founder and CEO of Bubble Tea. For me, just speaking about last week when I got the news that there was sand filling, I came onto the beach, and that was the first time that it actually hit home. That was the first time that I actually was so emotional because I didn't recognize what I was seeing. When I normally come to the beach, I see sea, I see blue, I see sand, I see enjoyment, and all I saw was grey and damp and the life being sucked out of somewhere that has so much energy. For me, I was born and raised in the UK, so I'm from the diaspora, and I came here to invest in my home country. So I've been at Landmark Beach since the inception, and I've seen it grow. I've seen it come from a baby to an infant to now a teenager, where we are able to have 40 businesses run in this ecosystem, not to speak less of the whole ecosystem as a whole. And the idea that this will no longer exist is devastating. It's devastating to me as a business owner. It's devastating to me as somebody who came here to invest in my country, to bring my money to better the environment, to better my staff, to make a change, and for that to be ripped out and ripped away from me, I have no words for it. I employ about 10 people directly. Indirectly, I employ about 30 people. We have vendors, and most of our vendors are women-based businesses. They're rural women who are into farming, who are into supply, manufacturing, and we employ them indirectly. If my pineapple lady if I can't get pineapples from her, what's going to happen to her? So we're talking about me, and I'm talking about my direct staff. But what about the indirect people that I employ and the effects that it's going to have on them, their families? They send their children to schools. You know, I've had people who have worked in my organization who have sent their children to school. I can't put it into words. All I can say is we need to do better as a country. We need to fight for our rights. This beach land is our right. Do you get what I'm saying? It wasn't created by anybody. The people of Landmark decided to kind of make a diamond in a rough, right? To make something beautiful in the hustle and bustle of Lagos life, somewhere where you can come to and just be you, just relax and just enjoy. The idea of somebody ripping that away, I can't even fathom it. I can't think of what to say. I can't put it into words. But what I do know is that if it goes away, yes, I am directly affected. My direct staff are affected. But think about the hundreds of thousands of other people who are affected, who look at this ecosystem as their daily bread, their daily meal, and what can allow them to think of how can they aspire. I don't have much else to say, but I really, thank you. I really implore the government, anybody who has an interest in Nigeria, who has a love and a passion for our country and for what it is that we are building here, to stand up and fight and push, and let's just do the right thing. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Now, the narrative is pretty much the same by almost everybody who owns or runs a business here. There has to be another way. We do not have to suffer for things to get better, if that is the narrative that's been pushed. We do not have to lose businesses, sources of livelihood, because we want infrastructural development in the country. There has to be a way. We are not just creating the railways for the first time. This is not the 1900s. This is 2024, and we have to be smarter in whatever it is we're doing. We'll take one more business owner. Two more, okay? Two more. Please, can we put our hands together for him as he comes?
Thank you.
Your name and the business you represent.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Damola Duke, representing Green Cabin Foods. So, for me today, I don't think I want to talk about saving the beach. I don't think I want to talk about the coastal road. I want to talk about me and my team, because this is it's kind of very personal. I'm an architect, but I started my journey in hospitality about a decade ago. I've been to many places, and Landmark is that place that I have found joy in doing hospitality. As an architect, I mean, it's beautiful, but I decided to focus on hospitality because I came to Landmark. From Landmark, I've grown 2 other businesses just doing business here. Landmark is not a location for me. Neither is it a place that I do business. Landmark is like an emotion. I'm sure some people might think I'm being dramatic, but I promise you I know what I'm saying. Landmark is a feeling for me and my team. I've got members of my team that, we have another branch. They worked there for a while. That's Samuel Otoide, is a staff of mine. He used to work at the branch, and he told me, he said, "Boss, please, I want to come back to Landmark. This place, there's no activity here." Imagine when I had to tell them that this Landmark will no longer be. I am a very strong person, aesthetically. Now, when I had to tell them, I tried to be as strong as possible, to the point that they started doubting me. They felt, why is he so calm about this? Like, there's panic around. Why is he acting like there's no problem? But I had to be strong for them. But you know when it broke me? When that came up, for the very first time, they saw me break. They knew that there was a problem because I could no longer hide it. Now, we talk about the people that are employed directly. But we are not talking about the people that depend on our business. There's a man all the way in Ijora, Mr. Awole. He will be affected by this, but look at the distance. I have an assistant. She lives all the way in Festac. She works remotely. She will be affected by this. We have our brand printer and all that. All the way in Shomolu. He will be affected by this. Do not look me in the eye and tell me that, oh, it's just the beach. No, it's not just the beach. The beach is a place that we have found safety. We have found joy. I look at my team members, not at my staff. I look at the other vendors on the beach, not as competition. I look at them as family. I was so glad when Papi said that. I've met people, even customers on the beach, that we have gone ahead to do business together. It is again why I say Landmark is not a place that I do business. It's a feeling for me. So when I had to tell again my manager that there is a problem, this is the problem. Do you know how many times I had to console them over the phone? Right now, the uncertainty is such that they don't know if it's today, they don't know if it's tomorrow, they don't know if it's next year. How do you grow a business with such uncertainty? How? So it's not just a situation where we want this to be resolved. We need this to be resolved as quickly as possible so that these people that depend on the existence of this safe haven continue to have that feeling of hope. I have a staff as well, Tolani Olabisi. I'm not sure if she's here. She has produced a movie just by working at Landmark. This is somebody that our story I cannot share because it's her story to tell. But it's a beautiful journey. How was it made possible? the landmark beach. So I say again, I'm not here to say we should save the beach or all of that. I want you to look at the humans behind these businesses and know that it's not just a business, it's a family, and we need to save that family. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Just before we go on, I would like to chip in a few things. I myself am a beach lover, and Landmark is a place I've visited a couple of times. When we put out our first report last week, I think it was, there were a series of responses and comments, and there was a comment that struck me. Somebody there stated, I have no statistics to prove this, but somebody stated that he's been to Nigeria, and by the way, he's not Nigerian. He's been to Nigeria several times, particularly Lagos. The beach is one place he loves to come to, but so far, one of the safest beaches he comes to is Landmark. I wouldn't go into the detail of why he stated it being the safest, so it doesn't seem like I'm trying to, patronize. But the truth is, that is just one of the several things that may go. If you live in Lagos, you know that safety sometimes could be an issue. In public places, in public parks, in beaches and all of that, even in so-called private places as well. And so these are things that other beaches learned from Landmark. And some of these are the reasons why we are bringing this town hall down here. I would have one more business owner come forward and speak. And then after that, we would speak directly, or we'll hear directly from the staff here. We spoke to some the last time we came for the report. But, of course, because of time, we couldn't have so many of them. Now we would have the luxury of speaking to a couple more of the staff who will tell us how exactly they and their family members will be affected by whatever happens or will happen on these premises. Okay.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Ifoma Wanko. I'm the business owner of Happy Spirits Meal. I'm devastated. The information of the Landmark being demolished affected me so much in that when I heard about it, I was down. We have about 10 staff who are currently working with us, and these 10 young, vibrant people have about 5 to 10 people depending on them. And then over the course of our business being in existence here, we have over 40 people who depend on them. Then coming to hear that the beach is going to be demolished, I felt for them. But particularly for me, I was asking myself, where do I start from? What do I do? Because a few years ago, I happened to come to Lagos. I wasn't staying in Lagos. I was staying in Port Harcourt. But by virtue of marriage, I relocated. And you know what it is like when you leave another city where you are established, you have an already existing business, then you have to relocate from there to come to a new town who you know nobody. It took me a while to stabilize. It took me a while to find my footing. And as God will have it, Landmark gave me the opportunity, the privilege to establish myself in this. And I can say that today, I can say Lagos is home for me. So coming to hear that this place that has become home, that has given me the opportunity to be relevant and give people's life a meaning, is going to be wiped out. I've not recovered. I'm still recovering because it's sounding like I don't know what to call it. It's sounding somehow to me. So I'm pleading and I'm praying. And I wish if there's a slightest miracle, something will happen, that they can preserve this creation that we have. Because the other day, one of my customers called me and said, Ifoma, this is what is happening in Landmark. I said, yes. He had to come with his family. He had to do a video. And what he said in that video was very remarkable. He said there is no beach in the whole of Nigeria, in the whole of West Africa that is a landmark. Landmark is a home in that the middle class, anybody and everybody can come. And then recently last year, we had a blogger, a white man, a foreigner who came, to Landmark, and he happened to come to the beach, and he was interviewed. He ate our food, Nkwabi, and he liked it. So there is so much, really. There is so much that is going to be at stake. It's not about me, because right now, where do I start from? We all know that owning a shop in Lagos is very difficult. So living here, where do I start from? Because being a landmark, I don't have to look for customers. Naturally, they come. And then the pressure of having to pay rent and all of that is not there. All you are needed to provide is just a little token of what you sell. There is no pressure. So now we are told this place is going to go. Where do I start from? So it's heartbreaking, really. And I'm praying and I'm begging that something should be done. There is a way to achieve both purposes. We can achieve the coastal road. The coastal road is a beautiful project, no doubt. But we can achieve the coastal road at the same time, preserve the lives that are dependent on these businesses. It is doable. It is possible. And if government has the interest of these people, these families, you know, the young people that we have, a lot of them, most of them, if not for these businesses and opportunities given to them, most of them would have been on the streets. They would have been doing drugs and all. But because we gave them an opportunity, we gave their lives a meaning, they are able to have something that they can use to support their family. So I'm calling on the government today to hear our voice. We are heartbroken and we are praying and pleading that you can listen to us and help us sustain this place for the future. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Now, while I was putting together my report last week, there was an excerpt I took from the tweet by Mr. Paul Owanibe. And just as everybody here has said, it's not an attack against the government. It's not a us versus them battle. It is and just like she just mentioned, a way to find a win-win situation for all parties involved, such that the road, if it must be created, can and will be created, but rather than disturb or disturb activities, it would put more food on the table for people than destroy that. I spoke to staff of the different businesses accommodated by Landmark last week when we were here. We didn't have the chance to speak to too many of them, but now we have a broader chance, and so we'll take more people than we did the last time. I'd also like to mention there that something touched me that last week, and she also made mention of it. Some of the staff here, from what they earn here, regardless of how little or how much, said that they started their formal education while working here. They were able to sponsor their education while working here. Working conditions have been so conducive that they were able to school and work, and they finished schooling. And one gentleman said he has even risen as high as managerial position in the organization he's working with. I think that's worthy of a round of applause for, first of all, the people, and then for those who employed them, giving them the chance to school and to work so that they can not just grow their pockets, but grow themselves as well, and as such help their families. At this point now, I would like to begin to call members of staff of the business here. We would take 4, if I'm not mistaken. So we would bring the microphone to them. Okay, let him come forward then. We'll take 4 of them, and then after that, just as was mentioned earlier, there are people who service the businesses who don't necessarily come here or work here. We would also hear from them. We have never spoken to those people before, so this would be a fantastic chance for us to hear from them.
I'm Henry Ekong. I'm a full staff of Landmark, but partially I started here as a vendor, working under Travis before he changed his location. I was working as a mixologist back then, but thank God, I think we are talking about a journey, a success journey. I'm now working with Landmark. I'm a full Landmark staff. I think that is a good achievement on my own part. So this win-win solution we are asking government to seek into is, let's talk about the economic impact of tourism. We all know that tourism plays a very vital, significant role in the life of humans. So many people travel far and near just to come to Landmark. I think in the whole West Africa, I think we are the best in the world. We are the best in the West Africa, that you can actually come, relax, enjoy yourself, you come to stay. So Landmark is a place you come to stay, not to leave. So even if you leave, you definitely still want to come back. So it's a very shocking story when we heard that, just like our boss said, Pio said, that it was like a April Fool. Seriously, to me, it still looks like until we start seeing this and feeling and all that. So, but I will stand firm and tell everybody that we are here, we started together, and we always live the best together. I can tell so many people that in terms of economical factor, Landmark itself has so many industries. Many people come here to stay and invest. How do you expect investors to hear this shocking news and still coming to invest in Nigeria? It is very, very shocking. Nobody want to do that. Nobody want to waste money. Nobody. You get? Now we have thousands of unemployed. Then sending all this, you think in every single outlet in Landmark, I think we have more than 80-something outlets inside Landmark, within the village and generally the ecosystem. So sending them, each outlet might have staff more than 20, 30. Then times them with their family, you know the fractions. So that is a lot. I don't know how government wants to work with that. How did you, it will increase a high rate of crime, coupled with the economic crisis we are facing here in Nigeria. So please, we all expect a win-win, and that's what we are after. So thank you all.
Thank you so much. Please, you can take your seats. Henry, by the way, is the gentleman I was talking about when I said a young man spoke to me and said he started, from the ground here, and he's been able to raise his career all the way up. Can we please put our hands together again for him? Thank you so much. Just again to reiterate, we are streaming live on our YouTube channel. We are on News TV Live. We're also on DSTV, channel 422, on Star Times 274. Because we will not be able to see everybody's comment, if you have your devices here, you can go on whatever platform, Instagram, Twitter, or on our YouTube channel, and leave your comments. They will definitely be seen by those watching on social. Thank you.
Hello, good afternoon. My name is Daniel, representing Kids Club by Max Activities. For years, I've been in hospitality industry, over 20 to 22 years. But coming to Landmark Kids Club, what I got here is quite different in terms of love. In terms of working as a team, Landmark is not just a landmark. It's a family strong together in love and building the nation. On daily basis, I work with Kids Club, attend to guests, and I get their feedback form. Every time, some of them will be telling me, this place is one of the best in the whole world. In terms of safety, you can go to other beaches. You see where they're selling all this hard drug and all those things, fighting, recording missing children year out and year in during the peak period. But in Landmark, there's no church. Government on its own bring the issue of coastal road. It's a good thing in the country. But at the same time, government have to consider the investors that have suffered so much. Instead of going outside the country to invest their business, they decided to come to Nigeria and establish their business and employ Nigerians in order to render assistance to government in terms of job creation. I think Landmark deserves a round of applause. As my boss have rightly said, in Landmark Kids Club, we have 27 staff. We are just 3 years old in Landmark. But as I'm talking to you, 8 number of staff have comfortably wedded. They have established and they are doing well. So I know the government, Mr. President, you have a hearing ears. I've worked close to him over 8 years in the past. I know he's a man of people. He's a man that considers the masses. We are pleading on behalf of Nigerians, telling government, please, stick to the initial arrangement to divert the road to that side and not this place. Save Landmark Beach. Save unemployment youth in this country that can bring food to the table. Because each of the Landmark Kids Club feed almost 10 other people at home. You can imagine what happened to those people when Landmark Beach is gone. God bless you.
Thank you so much. I'll call another young man, Abraham. But as he's coming, I mentioned that you can put your comments on our YouTube page. I'll quickly read out two of the comments. We have several of them coming in already. Okpara Chinelu says, I can't imagine the disruption of a business that provides thousands of direct and indirect employment for a coastal road project in which the original route remains undeveloped. We will get to that conversation eventually. She also says, even if the government pays compensation for the structures to be demolished, what about the jobs that will be lost? That's a genuine question. Onu says, I think that it will be better for the government to reroute the road and use the initial plan. We love Landmark. And there are several more. These are people that we do not know, but they are watching live and they are stating. Now, I did also mention that eventually we would go to before we wrap this up, we would go to the original plan if we do have some information about that. And then we'll have suggestions from the lawyer and from stakeholders on what could possibly be a win-win solution. Could there be another direction that the road could take? Could there be another place that the construction could have started from while giving Landmark and other businesses and other people who may be affected enough time to prepare for whatever may come? Could there be alternatives that would benefit all parties involved? We would have that conversation before we wrap this up.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Abiodun Iban Samuel. I work as a Landmark Beach service team. So, I started my journey with Landmark 2017 as a cleaner. Later on, when they opened the beach, they invite me come back to the beach to come and assist the people for the beach for the maintenance. Along the line, they give me as a staff. Started my control the service team boys, then give me boys. Along the line, I gather money and do my traditional wedding from here. I open shop for my wife under Landmark. I have my own family. All my brother and sister enjoy under me. I have friends where they can just call me say, Ebi, do you have any work to give us? Go no, I will talk to my boss that they will give you work. So along the, a lot of them don't call me say, how far? We just say your area, they don't scatter. Say, how everything go. I say, God go down. So we are trying to beg the government to find a solution about the situation again.
Thank you so much. Please, can our next round of applause be for his wife? I think even the government and the powers that be would love a good love story, yes? So if out of here somebody was able to, like he said, host his traditional wedding and then come this far, these are reasons why businesses like these, if anything, should not be torn apart, rather should be encouraged. We have to find a win-win situation.
Good afternoon. My name is John Paul. I'm representing Truth Beach Club. First and foremost, a lot of people think this whole demolition doesn't really affect us, but the truth is it actually does affect us, because your house cannot be at peace when your neighbor building is catching fire. Of course, one way or the other, it will affect you. That's for that. Truth Beach Club has been existing for over 4 years, and then Landmark on its own, it's more or less like a place where it's kind of suited. I've been to a lot of beach resorts, but being here at Landmark, this kind of relationship where you have a particular place that gives you peace. And then you feel like you want to come here over and over again, including those working, including those coming here for leisure. And then it's been affecting us in a way that nobody will want to have any business with a place they're not certain of the future. I know we've missed out on many reservations because they'll always tell us, I can't have business where the future of that place is not certain. Like someone said here, it said, we don't even know when it's going to happen. We could have had anyone booked for event for next month, and all of a sudden we know that next month the whole demolition process has started. It's not going to be nice. So this is a plea to the government, because if the demolition happens, it will not only affect us that workers here, it will not only affect vendors, it will go as much as affecting individuals who come here for relaxation. There are many people that have built their family process here. There are a lot of people that come here and they got engaged and they'll be like, this is the spot where we got engaged. This is like a trademark for us. This is where we can find peace. And hearing that will be disheartening to them. It's disheartening to me because I know my family depend on me. I know we have a staff strength of over 50, and each and every one of their family depends on them. I know of a staff of mine that was crying to me that he lost his mom and his brother. He's going through trauma, but somehow along the line, we'll find a way to keep him company. So it's beyond that. It's like a family. I've worked in so many places in the hospitality sectors, but I've never been here that looks like a family, or feels rather like a family. Even if I'm sad coming here, I feel like from the gate I find joy. I don't know how that is, but it feels exciting. Now going into my own place of business, I feel like I'm meeting another set of family. So it's really something that will be taken away from us. It's going to be a trauma if Landmark is taken down. Not to us, not just to vendors, not to business owners, not just to workers, employees. It's also going to be a trauma to people who come here for relaxation, who find peace here. Because the beach has a way of giving this energy. I love walking around the beach when I'm angry because somehow it burns the anger away from me. So I believe there are more people that are like that. So I'm pleading to the government, we can always do a win-win situation, and then we should find a way to make it work. We don't have to demolish things, scatter properties, for us to work hand in hand. So that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Let's take your seat. Okay, the last of the staff members we'll take is Olaomi Kazim. I got the name right. Please come forward. And then after that, I did mention that not just the staff members or business owners, we have suppliers who supply goods and services to this facility. They also are going to be directly or indirectly affected. I have a long list. We may not be able to take all of them, but you will be surprised. For those who do not know this facility, you'll be surprised at the kind of businesses that also supply this facility and what they stand to lose should this demolition eventually take place.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Kazim Olaomi, and I work as a customer service representative at Landmark. I work directly on this beach that is about to be demolished. And I know how connected I am to this place. When I came into Landmark, there's practically a few things that I know, but working at Landmark is that place that has developed and impacted every one of their staff, one way or the other. I work on this beach. It's very personal. I meet people every day from different parts of the world, and making them happy, making sure that they smile, they live happily, and tell other people about Landmark is something that I enjoy doing. And it's so disheartening that this place is about to be demolished. We've impacted lives. We've made people happy. I'm the firstborn of my family, and there are people
directly and indirectly linked to me. And I don't know what's going to happen if I lose my job. I remember when they started this unfeeling and I posted it on my status, and my mom called me and said, what's going to happen to you guys? You know, the emotions, everything is just so disheartening. I used to work closely with Landmark members. These are people that have paid yearly to come and enjoy this space. They pay yearly, and, you know, I've worked directly with them. It's so emotional because these people, they've been calling, Mummy, what's going to happen? You know, we love this place. We have members that come here every evening. They just want to enjoy the water, the serenity. They just want to come and walk. And it's so sad that they've been calling that, this beach must not be demolished. Like, this is where I come to cool off my head. This is where I come, I bring my family. This is the only family beach. Landmark is the only family beach where children come into. And they know they can bring their family. And they're asking questions. My children, are you saying they can't come to kids club? Are you saying they can't come to the water? What's going to happen? We're pleading with the government. There's another way to go about this road. That place is underdeveloped. We can route it there. Landmark provides 12,000 jobs. Imagine combining 12,000 jobs to the 50,000 jobs that this road is going to build. That's 62,000. We don't want to take away 12,000 for 50,000. We can work together. We can do this thing together. Save us. We have customer service. We've been so emotional. We live here. Landmark is the only place that provides accommodation. We work here. We live here. We play here. Everything we do it here. This is that one-stop destination. Please, we're pleading with the government. Please hear our cry. Save our jobs. A lot of us started from nothing, but I know what I've learned from Landmark. I know what Landmark has impacted. Free trainings, free educational trainings, and all free certificates just to make sure that we grow. Please, we're pleading. Don't take this away from us. Thank you.
Thank you so much. One of my favorite Nelson Mandela quotes is, "It is impossible until it is eventually done." We may be saying it's impossible for us to construct this road without cutting through this facility, but of course, it can be done. It is possible, and nobody has to lose. She talked about alternatives. We will get there. What are the possible alternatives? We have people who would speak on that, who would tell us what could be the possibilities that we could actually look at to achieve a win-win situation, win-win solution eventually. But now we have service suppliers. We did talk about that as well. People who, in one way or the other, service the different businesses on this beach. They don't have offices here, but what they do indirectly affects, or it has an impact on this beach. And what happens here would also directly or indirectly affect them. We're going to be hearing from a couple of them before eventually we get closer to wrapping up. Okay, one last Landmark staff before we get there.
Okay. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Eniola. I work directly with the beach team. I joined Landmark last year, 2023, and since then till now, my life has never remained the same. I mean, my life has been impacted positively and still impacting. The news about the demolition of the beach has since created panic, fear, and uncertainty to myself, the team, and Landmark as a whole. I mean, the beach is a major point of attraction to Landmark. And if the shoreline is covered off, if the beach is taken away from us, where do we start from? How do we forge ahead? I mean, this has been the question that majority of our team members has been asking us. It doesn't just take a day to build this place. And I can't imagine Landmark Beach soon becoming a history to us. This is a job that, provided employment to over 12,000 people, and I'm one of them. Working here has been a privilege, and I'm appealing to the government. I mean, we have vendors who are directly and indirectly employed here, and the majority of employees here are Nigerians. We deserve to live. We deserve to survive. This is a major source of livelihood. Our life is dependent on this job. We're appealing to the government to please help us. We're appealing to the government. I just believe that there could be there could be an amicable resolution to this. There will always be a way to go about it. We can't be jobless. We can't remain jobless. We took the effort to go out to seek for a job because we don't want to be unreasonable youth. We don't want to, be indolent. We want a life for ourselves. And it's so emotional right now because even the investors, it looks as though everything is fine. But as an organization, we are still servicing loan. We have Vantage loan yet to be uncleared. Where do we start from? We are appealing to the government. We don't want to go bankrupt. If the beach is covered, we are left with nothing. We are left with nothing. We are citizens of this country, and we deserve a good life. We deserve to live. We all know how difficult it is to gain employment. And this is the only organization that has given us employment, and we build a bond here. We have a family here. We live here. We stay here. We can't afford to be jobless. We are appealing to the government, and most importantly, to President Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu and all the other decision makers to please tamper justice with mercy and preserve the beach for us. Please save Landmark Beach. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We're gradually winding down on today's activity, but before we do that, for those watching us from home and online, we would like to see if we can give you a feel to show you what the sun feeling of the beach is about. One of our cameras would pan towards there and zoom in. For those of us here, we probably have seen it already. For those at home, we want you to see. We were here last week, I think it was last week Monday or Tuesday, when we got the news and News Central's crew came here. You will see that in a short while. We'll try and make it as clear as possible for you. So this was the front. What you are looking at now, if we have that on camera, is heaps of sand that has blocked off or cordoned off part of the beach front that used to form the aesthetics of this vicinity where we are seated, where people can actually from here cross to the beach and have a nice time. Unfortunately, from the story we were told, very early that morning, with no information, with no prior notice, heavy equipment just appeared across the water and began sand filling. And that is one of the horrors that this place has been facing since then. Between then and now, it's been over a week since I've been here. What I'm seeing is a lot different from what I saw the last time. And so you can only imagine, for those who have not been here in a while, that part of the beach, if this continues, we don't know how much of a stretch it will cover. So what you're looking at again, if we have a clear shot, is part of the sand filling activities that we talked about earlier and that we're still talking about. Again, we will get to before the end of this, we would get to what solutions and suggestions can be given such that if this road eventually should continue and be completed, we can have a win-win situation. Now, before we conclude, we would have some of the service providers that we mentioned earlier. We can only take 3 because of time factor. So we'll begin to call. We have 3 of them. Please give us again your name, your business, and how you work with this facility.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Marianne. I work for High and Pearl. We provide fumigation services to the beach. In fact, I'm looking at my job right there. And then this is what I do for a living. I employ close to 20 staff. And we come to, when we have jobs at the beach, we are here almost at night. Most times to work here at night. And this is my job being taken away from me. And it's not even funny. I have able young men working in the beach when we come to provide our services. It's something we have come to do. We love this job. It puts food on our table, my family and my staff members. So it's not funny. In fact, when I first heard as a rumor from my friend, I was like, no, it's not possible. It can't be. Until I saw the CEO, Paul, on TVC. And then, of course, my heart started paining me immediately. My heart started paining me. And then when I told my staff members, we have been praying, but what is prayer without works? We will pray, we will work. We are here to appeal to the government. Preserve our livelihood. This is the source of living for me and members of my staff and their family members as well. It's a lot put together for us. I have a lot of emotions running down when I look at the beach. We run on this beach. We walk on this beach. It is my source of livelihood. It is the source of livelihood of members of my staff and their families. We can't watch it being taken away from us. It's a lot put together. I'm very emotional. It's a lot put together for me. This is my place of work. I am not working for Landmark directly. I provide a service. So I'm affected as well. If they take this away from me, Landmark is I don't even know how to say it. They are my first and largest customer. You can imagine what that would do to my business. I will start crumbling. I'm not lying. It's a big source of my business, and I can't watch it be taken away from me. Please, I beg government, I beg Ashiwaju, I beg everybody that is related to this thing, please do something for us. Save our livelihood, save our jobs, save our businesses, and save our families. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I'm looking at the list of service providers, and there's one particular one that interests me. I hope the representative is around. A representative of EKEDC. Do we have the person around? Do we have the person around? I promise I will not judge you if you come out. But that is also, we may not realize it, but of course, we're sitting here now, the fans are blowing, we can use our equipment, drinks are chilling, and we may not recognize it, but that is one service supplier that is important to the beach, and that the beach is important too, like it or not. You and I have our buildings, we pay our regular power bills, tune of maybe 20, 30, some 50,000 naira. But imagine what comes out of this beach to EKEDC on a monthly basis. Take that away from EKEDC, and I know they will know that virtue has left them. So I wish that person was around. Maybe they are not, but we'll go on. We have other service suppliers whom we would like to speak to, just about 2 or 3 more before we go towards the concluding part of our program. Who's the next person that we're having? Okay. All right. Zion Grace. Eagle's Eye. Okay.
Good afternoon. My name is Oluwafemi. The current situation has been a very devastating one. And Landmark has not just been an organization for people like us. It has been a platform, it has been a place of refuge for us. Landmark has been a platform that gives young people like us to prove themselves. We have been to places, we've done some works, but in Landmark, when you come, they will accept you as you are, but that doesn't mean they will take trash from you. They doesn't take what is not quality, but nevertheless, they have given us opportunity to prove what we can do. We came here, no proud years of experience. When you go to some company, they will ask you how many jobs you've done, how many this you've done, but the only thing, can you do this? And once you can prove yourself, you can do it. With a trial, we did first, and they keep giving us. And most of the job has been on this beach. The truth of the matter is that we might look tiny and small, but there are people benefiting from us as well. There are some people, we pay their school fees from the proceeds we get from here. There are some other smaller businesses we help from the proceeds we get from here. I want to appeal seriously. I will go on my knee now to appeal with the president and everyone in power and everyone in charge that this is beyond an organization. It is beyond an entity. It is like we are talking to the whole world. like larger percentage of this country, most people will be affected. People we know, people we don't know will be seriously affected. There's the open markets, the people that sells in the market will be seriously affected. If you take away the amount of goods that comes to this place out of the market, you will feel the impact. The impact is going to be all across board. We want to appeal to our lovely president. We know he's a father indeed that will not allow the children to suffer, a father indeed that will not allow the young ones to roam around the streets, a father indeed that will not allow people to weep, a father indeed that has the best of his children at heart. We want to appeal to him if there are other alternatives that can save this structure, save this organization. It's not just saving the organization, it's saving a larger percentage of the youth. And most people can attest to this. I want to plead again that anyone in power that is part of this, they should please look at it again and again, look at the ripple effect, look at what it might cost to people like us, people benefiting from us. Some children are in school because we get some things from here, aside our biological children, that we have to pay for. I plead that they will listen to us and we have a good result. Thank you.
Thank you so much. When a person goes on their knees to plead, you know that what they are pleading for is genuine. It's really going to cut across. We are gradually winding down. Very quickly, if you've lived in Lagos from the 80s, 90s, when we used to have back then the major Bar Beach and Lekki Beach as two of the maybe only or major beaches we had, as time went on, one major issue that those beaches had was cleanliness. And many of the beaches in Lagos still have that issue. But if you look around, you will see that it's not exactly an issue here. There used to be this suggestion I always used to throw around when I go to dirty beaches, that for everybody who is buying a ticket to get into the beach, give them a trash bag. So as you pay, you get a trash bag. When you're done beaching, as it may seem, or if you want to call it, you put everything you've eaten, everything you've done inside the trash bag and dump it somewhere. But you see, I've come to see that Landmark had their own strategy, and that's why the beach is clean. The next person I want to call is, he's one of those in charge of cleaning here, cleaning agency, and that is Zion's Grace. He's representing Zion's Grace. And he would also come and explain how this would affect their business. Please come forward.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Isaac Monday. I'm representing Zion Grace. We're in charge of cleaning of the beach, the towers, the retails, and the village. And first of all, that most of you, Landmark Beach has been a major beach. And I started my career from here. I started after my school life. I started from Landmark before I became who I am. What I do in life is cleaning. I'm into cleaning. And when I got the news, I was confused because also my house was actually destroyed in the estate. That's Jack on the estate. But when I heard about Landmark Beach in the platform, I don't know how to explain this. But I must tell you, I was pleading to the government to assist in any way. Imagine having 58 staffs working in the beach alone, not talking about the village retailers. I don't know how they're going to survive this. So I'm using the privilege to appeal to the government to help us so that they can help us. This staff, they don't have anywhere. They depend on Landmark Beach to survive. Most of them, they have families. They have children at home. They have where. They don't have anywhere to go to. So they said after God is government. After God is government. But I believe they can tap out justice to mercy. There's anything that God cannot do does not exist. I believe that. Anything that God cannot do does not exist. And I believe, and God will help us throughout this. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. The last of the service providers we will take this evening is, or this afternoon, I beg your pardon, is Ario Nuruddin from Anor Electricals. Now, at News Central TV, we are very inclusive. We know that we want our audience to understand what it is we are doing here, but we also have people who would want this conversation in other languages so they can understand. And Ario is going to do that as well.
So, orúkọ tèmi ni Ariyo Nuruddin I provide mo máa ń ṣe electrical gbogbo tó máa ń pè ní electrical landmark èyí tó pọ̀ jù bẹ́ẹ̀ èmi mo ṣe ibi tí landmark dádé mo lọ Lagos free zone abẹ́ iṣẹ́ kan bẹ́ẹ̀ wọ́n wá ní ẹ̀dá ọkọ̀ fún iṣẹ́ wo lẹ́ẹ̀dí ṣe rí mo ní landmark not knowing that pé ẹni tí wọ́n interview mi lẹ́gbẹ̀ẹ́ kan bẹ́ẹ̀ landmark ló ti kúrò wọ́n wá ní ṣé o mọ̀ máa yìí máa wá ní pé ta ni mo mọ̀ landmark mo ní oníṣẹ́ mo mọ̀ ìnìkà mo ní mo mọ̀ náà dá fair in complexion the next thing mo ní mo mọ̀ Ayọ̀túndé mo tún dárúkọ Ọpẹ́kè all ti pass and they gave me the job because of landmark that's one. Number two, tẹ́ bá lọ sí gbogbo etí òkun yìí iná tó pọ̀ jù bẹ́ẹ̀ you see touch and lipa because of me the Chinese man the manufacturer they came from China down to landmark to see their products. One in December they called me when it well done they saw their products. Tẹ́ bá lọ sí Alaba International I bought landmark and lipa and see touch the best customer landmark mo tà fún wọ́n wo wọ́n náà máa send gift to me because of landmark. So landmark wọ́n di sẹ́wọ́n tó dáa àǹfààní tó pọ̀ ókè ẹ̀yẹ́ ìtúsọ̀kan nígbà COVID-19 kò sówó ń ta mo ṣiṣẹ́ fún landmark I was expecting they will pay nígbà COVID-19 I was living on more than 500,000 every day landmark a máa sanwó lọ́sẹ̀ẹ̀sẹ̀ owó tó ti bá mi accumulate every week ló ń sanwó fún mi mo bá máa kan ní ọjà láìpẹ́ yìí ó ní ọ̀gá àfà if you say you want plenty millions of market I will give you mo ní what happen. Only during that COVID-19, I don't know what I go chop. I did there, they think, now so I see money. You see money, only where is money a landmark. Be landmark is on for me, most of them more than $1. Only I don't go forget till I go die. Be my second I don't for me. Last week, I'm talking of last week. So I want to find landmark this for le carton. So I want to write job. Eye tu mo kan wa KFC, to wa mi bayi, mo se wa ni KFC. Mo se wa ni KFC gbogbo Nigeria, be je kan nu. KFC tó wà mí báyìí tí mo ṣiṣẹ́ fún mo lọ office meeting wọn ní last week lórí ọ̀rọ̀ ọ̀fẹ́ wo landmark one of the best store tó mọ wájú landmark ni ní KFC àwọn wò pé tí wọ́n bá wó landmark yìí ibo la fẹ́ lọ mo láwọn tó ń bá mi ṣe wọ́n lé 20 mo láwọn mi bẹ́ẹ̀ tí wọ́n tún jàǹfààní indirectly èmi àtọ̀rẹ́ mi kan wá òun náà wà pẹ̀lú máa ń ṣe tí wọ́n bá ní ká máa kó landmark ibo là ń lọ lánàá I provide service for Quilox mo wà ń Quilox lálẹ́ àná mo ní landmark ní ká fún town hall meeting lẹ́ni wọ́n ní landmark tó ti fẹ́ wó mo ní no o wọn ò wó landmark o mo ní but mo yìí fún wọn ṣe supply landmark Ìkẹjà wọ́n tún fún mi ní list come and supply mo ní but wọ́n yìí fún mi supply ní 3 days ago wọ́n tún rí list from landmark village landmark tower wọ́n ní supply mo ń jẹ́ ń bẹ̀ àwọn bí mi jẹ́ ń bẹ̀ gbọ́n tí mo ń bá arajà tí mo ń tajà fún wọ́n ń jẹ́ àǹfààní bẹ̀ mo wá fẹ́ àsìkò yìí ń rọ ìjọba torí tọ́lọ́run kán ṣàánú wa èmi bàbá yìí sọ̀rọ̀ Lekki beach àwa gbé Márọ̀kọ́ láti lọ Jákàndé Márọ̀kọ́ la wà wọ́n lé wa lọ ìjọba lé wa atúndé Jákàndé atúnṣe electrical services mo tún wá laundry ká tún fi kún lẹ́gbẹ̀ẹ́ ìgbà tí wọ́n ní Coastal Road wọ́n wó laundry service wa nísìmọ̀ tẹ́ bá ń gbà tí Márọ̀kọ́ tẹ́ bá ń lọ bábìsì ń gbà yẹn kò ṣe é rí o lẹ́yìn ìgbà yẹn ọ̀dà skimodo ogun máa ń lọ bábìsì ní Lekki beach mi ò ṣe é rí lẹ́yìn ìgbà yẹn kọ́ tó di pé wọ́n wo landmark yìí kò sí beach tàbí fi wé landmark mo láwọn tí mo ń ṣiṣẹ́ fún wọ́n wá láti ìlú òyìnbó London wọ́n wá orí kan mo ní status landmark lórí mo ní landmark lè bí mo ṣe gbogbo náà yìí ó náà máa wá láti London torí landmark ọmọ wá láti London so àwọn ọ̀rọ̀ ìjọba kán bá àwọ̀ ṣe landmark ibi tí gbogbo wa ti ń jàǹfààní ni ẹ ṣe ó dàbọ̀.
ẹ ṣe gan sa my Yoruba is not fantastic. I would have loved to translate that. But basically, he's saying that he got several referrals just because he works at he's worked with Landmark. And some of those referrals, he didn't even have to go far in interviews. And that even during COVID-19, during the pandemic when there was lockdown, while people were hungry, he was being paid every week. And he was paid very well. And he's been able to explain how this beach would affect him and his business. If you remember, if you have been watching from the beginning, I talked about News Central's very first in our Town Hall series. We talked about people affected in Jákàndé, and he also made mention of that as well. Now, as we're winding down, I did mention earlier that we're not just here to talk about how this activity would disturb the daily lives of those on the beach, how it would affect the income of people who are living and working here directly or indirectly. We're also here to provide solutions or possible solutions. You know, we've been seeing different things on social media. There's been different narratives. Oh, the road could have taken another detour. They could have started from somewhere else. Something else could have been done. But it's time for us to hear from an official source. Can there be possible solutions? Can there be another direction? Is there something else that the government can look into such that Landmark, the staff, the business owners, and those who service them, those who benefit from here, would not be affected negatively, and that coastal road and everything that concerns it will still go on, and it will still be a win-win situation and solution in the end? To talk about this, we would like to call on Adobe Nwanze, I beg your pardon, who has spoken earlier. She will come forward to give us some of the possible solutions, some of the possible suggestions that could be adopted and eventually would lead to a win-win solution for all parties involved. Thank you very much. Please, can we put our hands together for her again?
Thanks. All right. Thank you. Something that Ano Electrical said about during COVID, about how he was feeding. One of the things very likely, during COVID, during the lockdown, Landmark as an organization, we worked together with the Lagos State government and Young Presidents Organization to set a COVID center within this ecosystem at the Landmark Village. This was in the very beginning of this, when people didn't understand this disease, and so there were quite a lot of concerns about what it could mean to us as an organization. But we thought that as a corporate organization, there's so much that we benefited from this community, and we were very vested in doing our own bit to save lives. So within a matter of weeks, we set up the isolation center, and patients were brought in here. We had many, many wonderful, miraculous stories about people that were cured from COVID. And of course, there were some sad stories as well. There were some tragedies as well. But it's one of the things that as an organization, we're very proud that we played our part in fighting this disease. I just thought to mention it. So this is partly why he was able to feed during COVID, as he mentioned. Okay, in terms of the solutions, as I did mention when I first started talking, the Water Corporation median, if you see it, it's about 60 meters, has a 60-meter width across, compared to the 50-meter width road that and this is not exactly an odd problem. These are things that happen time and again when major infrastructure development is happening in any cityscape. So just like the Third Mainland Bridge, for instance, is built on the water, it's quite possible that that as well can be built on the water and connect further down the road. It could also be built, for instance, on the seawall that is right opposite us there. The point is that where there's a will, right, and with ingenuity, so to speak, right, there is a solution that can be found. And let's us bear in mind that this is a 1.5-kilometer stretch of road. That's an issue. The entire coastal road is 700 kilometers. It is going to take a minimum of 8 years, as the Works Minister said, a minimum of 8 years to complete. So while we're even still discussing how to ensure this thing happens in a way that has as minimal impact as possible on lives and livelihood, start it elsewhere while we're still having this conversation, right? It's a 700-kilometer stretch of road. It's going to take at least 8 years. It doesn't need to start here, this minute, this moment. So where there's a will, there's a way, and we're believing in this, our government. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Yes, we are believing in our government. We voted them in, which means that they are accountable to us. There always has to be a way. Where there's a will, there's a way. While the program was ongoing, I did mention that we have in our midst High Chief Matthew Adekunle Akpeno of Ibeju Lekki Land. I'm glad we have him here, and we would like to call him to say a word or two before we wrap this up. Of course, we are here on their land. Whatever affects this land affects him and his people as well. And if there's any way we can get him and those who are direct owners of the land, so to speak, to get to speak on the behalf of people who will be affected, we gladly would have them do that. So as the High Chief comes, please shall we put our hands together for him once again while he takes the microphone.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'd like to be here because I think yesterday I just hear about this event. And when I hear about the landmark, I thought it's only affecting my side because my children are working with landmark here and there. And every month I used to see something from them. When I hear about it again, I say, this want to flush everything about me. Because where my town, at Iwerekun town, the alignment affects us too. Because where their coastal road was formerly, everybody have give space to the landmark. Nobody attempt to do anything at the landmark. But maybe about 3-4 weeks ago, we hear they have shifted the landmark. They shifted at our palace. Because if you see the amount you have spent on the palace is over 500 million. When we hear about that, we start to run here and there. But I thank God about this event that we can express our mind to the government to listen to us because we are with the government. Especially government in power. We always supporting them. And when we hear of this, we start to plead to them to help us because where the landmark, where the coastal road is before, everybody have give the space. Nobody do anything on the land. But the realignment is going to affect even in our village, because we don't have an upland. We face the sea, we back the swamp. So the little development we are having is between the little space that we have. But when they realign the alignment again, it starts to disturb our village. That means we cannot be able to stay in the village because where the alignment is just what we have about the seaside to the village is not up to one street. So there's nowhere we can stay. Once they follow the realignment, there's nothing like Iwerekun. And Iwerekun is an ancient town which have been existing even before Lagos State was created. Iwerekun is existing during the western region. And many villages established from our Iwerekun, about 24-30 villages. If you see, right, even where the alignment affect now is between Okun Aja, Okun Mokpo Akinlade, Mokpo Ijebu, Mushekogo, Iwerekun town, that's my own town. Solu Orumija, Solu Alade, Okun Godo, Debojo, all the Eleko side, it affects every one of us. If it is formal alignment, nobody will complain. But we are begging the federal government and the Lagos State government, especially our father, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, Omolodode, we are pleading for him to help us. We know he's a listening father. He always listens to us. Even during their campaign, if he comes to our area, he will tell us anything we need, he will assist us. And we believe he will assist us on this matter. By God's grace, everything will be okay. It will not affect our children, especially where our children that are feeding us. If it affects them, that means we are nowhere to be found. We are begging government to listen to our noise. God will be with them.
Thank you so much. I mean, I think there's nothing wrong if we go with the elders to speak to the government. Hopefully they should listen. The last person we will be hearing from now is the Chief Strategy Officer here at Landmark, Oluwaseun Olatobi. Just a very brief remark, closing remark from him before we now give our own closing remark. Oluwaseun, thank you so much.
Thank you very much. I think today is one of my proudest days. I've worked in Landmark for 8 years, and you don't truly see the impact of what you do except in a place like this. I'm certain government is listening. I was actually going to end with a story, and it was funny that Abraham came here to say his story. So when the Landmark Beach was going to start, one of the stats we had was that 1 in 10 people are employed in tourism. And so when we wanted to employ those who would do, the porter job and all, and I remember the HR guys set up to want to start interviewing people. And Paul said, well, that's total rubbish. And he said, get on the streets, get the guys who already clean. We don't need any qualification for that. And that's how Abraham came into Landmark. Abraham has been here from the first day that we opened the Landmark Beach. I watched Abraham marry. I watched him give birth to his son. That's what will get destroyed. So we hope government will listen to us. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I hope other HR managers are listening to this and they did watch this, because truly there are certain jobs that you don't exactly need bulky qualification for. Someone like Abraham, he came, he's good at what he was doing, and he got a job here. We hope that that continues. Ladies and gentlemen, as we come to the end of this, once again, we've been streaming live on News Central TV Live, YouTube, on our X handle, News Central TV, on Instagram as well. I know some of you have been watching. And on DSTV 422, on Star Times 274. But all of this is made possible because one man decided to listen to the cries of the people, especially where the government is involved. And more often than not, we do not exactly have the voice to speak to the government. The Nigerian, particularly the young generation here in Nigeria, we have been called the Twitter generation, where we go online, we say a lot on social media, but we never come forward to say things directly as they are. And so because of that, we at News Central decided to start this town hall series. This is the third so far, and we hope we'll take it beyond Lagos and beyond Nigeria, if possible, God willing. But I'd like to now call on the man who started it all. He's our managing director and the editor-in-chief of News Central Television. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to call on Mr. Kayode Akintemi.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Bernard. Ladies and gentlemen, it's a joy to be here, but it happens to be on a sad note. I love Landmark because I've been here a few times. I'm not the kind of person that likes to go out. I'm extremely, extremely private, to the point where I probably would easily describe myself as a recluse. All I do is go to work and go home and sleep. But occasionally, I did get the chance to come out to a place like this. And it is beautiful. What you guys have done here, you deserve a round of applause. Well, like Kemi here, I often describe myself as a former diaspora Nigerian. Lived outside the country for many years, probably up to about 20 years. And when I came back strictly because I felt Nigeria can be better. And Nigeria has to be better. Those of us who have lived outside the country, we know the way things are done. I just had a chat with the CEO of Landmark Beach Resorts, Paul, and the same thing is what all of us are saying. If the government wants to do something, by all means, if it is in the interests of all Nigerians, or even majority, you will find a minority that might not want to enjoy it. But if it is majority of Nigerians stand to benefit from it, by all means, the government should be encouraged to do it. But the big but there is that the government is supposed to be the representative of the people. You guys voted for them. Irrespective of who you voted for, whoever emerges is a representative of all of you and all of us, myself included. So that means they owe us a duty to do first and foremost, above all things, to listen to us. It is only by listening to us that they get to know what really is our heart's desires. In listening to us, then it then means that they will be in that position where whatever decision they make is an informed decision based on having listened to us. I've been a media executive for at least the last 15 to 20 years, and I know what it means to make decisions. Decisions don't always favor everybody. And as a CEO of several companies, MDs here and the executive director here and there, you know for a fact that there will be people whose voices will be the loudest, but yet those are the voices that you shouldn't listen to for one reason or the other. So in making your decision, then it's got to be based on compassion for the majority, desire to see people grow, willingness to ensure that sometimes some of these things might not be what you personally want, but you have to do because it is important to the majority. So the reason for this gathering is to say to you people, you cannot be quiet. You cannot afford to be quiet. You have to speak up. I use this slang that Nigerians have mentioned before, Sorosoke. This generation of people, of Nigerians, you have to Sorosoke. Do not let anybody ask you to off your mic. Speak up so that you're heard. And that's why we have given our platform to encourage Nigerians to speak up so that the entire country will know that this idea, as beautiful, as awesome, as amazing as it might seem to those in government, if it is going to affect the majority, then they've got to do it in a way that the language we're looking for is a win-win solution. We're not saying the governor or the president should not do what they need to do, but they should make sure that it's a win-win solution. The nation wins and the people win. In other climes, consultation will be done for months before this project will start. But it started. And I don't know anybody here who's been consulted. And I'm not talking about the CEOs of companies that are impacted. I'm talking about people that will lose their jobs and lose their livelihoods, and people that will be on the street. These are the people that are probably even more important than those who are their CEOs. Because if you have thousands and thousands and thousands of people on the street with no job, you're creating a time bomb. So the appeal from News Central is that the government has got to listen. We will give our platform to the people because we are the fourth estate of the realm, and our job is to be the voice of the people. So we will invite you and we would ask you, at any point in time, you do desire to speak out, please reach out to News Central Television. We're down there in Ikeja. We're willing to hear the voices of the people and to amplify it. So please, a big round of applause to all of you who have been here. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We asked for an hour and a half, and you've given us 2 hours. We are greedy like that. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of the entire crew of News Central Television, regardless of the number you see here, we have a huge bunch back there in our office in Ikeja who have made sure that this program goes live. We would like to say thank you to everyone. My name is Bernard Akede. We pray and hope that whatever it is we have done here or we're doing here will get to the ears of those who matter, and we'll find alternative sources to make sure that we win and the government wins as well. Thank you very much.